I decided to change my words, excruciating pain, to the word discomfort. I was trying to calm down the emotional fear response that came when I said the words excruciating pain. The words excruciating pain, which felt very accurate to me, brought on a picture of being on fire. But the word discomfort didn't bring such a gruesome image. I was learning how the brain works and learning that using the words excruciating pain was not helpful in calming the fear that was increasing my pain. And thankfully for me, my experiment was really very successful. Have you noticed how often we talk to ourselves? Not out loud, necessarily, but in our minds. All day long, we tell stories, we describe situations, we kind of explain what's happening in our minds, and we choose words. We might choose words like, I'm falling apart, or nothing's working, my back is killing me, or the one I used a lot, my pain is excruciating today. Well, for years I thought those were just expressions that explained how I felt, just ways of talking. But eventually I realized something pretty important. I realized that the words that I used, they didn't just describe my experience, they actually helped to shape my experience. And so that became a very important lesson in my pain recovery journey. So today we're talking about why words matter and how changing a few words can sometimes change a lot more than we would expect. So I'm going to be joined today by my colleague and husband, Jim, as we share with you some life-changing lessons that we learned through my 21 years of unmanaged chronic pain.
And one of the things I find pretty interesting about today's topic is that the words we use, they don't just communicate ideas. I mean, those words, or maybe our choice of words, I mean, they really influence how we think about things.
For sure. Yeah. Think about the difference between these two statements. I'm having a difficult day, and my pain is killing me.
Ooh.
Same day, but very different language, very different choice of words, right? And usually a very different emotional response. So to be clear, I'm not talking about pretending things are fine when they're not.
No.
Right. I'm talking about recognizing that words create a picture in our brain, and our brains hear and react to that picture.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, the words don't create reality, right? But they sure do influence how we experience reality.
Yes, and that's why words matter. So looking back, I can see that I used some pretty harsh language toward myself.
You think?
Yes, I would say things like, I'm a mess today, or my body's just falling apart, or I can't do anything.
Yeah, those weren't very helpful.
Yeah, so if someone had spoken to me that way, I would have been hurt.
And I might have hurt them.
That's right. So picture someone saying to you, you're a mess, or your body's falling apart, or you can't do anything.
I'd at least have a talking to them.
That's right. But somehow I thought it was okay to talk to myself that way.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
Yeah. And the problem wasn't just the words. The problem was that I believed them.
Ooh.
Yeah. And over time, those words became a part of my identity.
That's such an important point. I mean, language doesn't just describe who we think we are.
Right.
Sometimes it starts to define who we think we are.
Such a great point. Yeah. And you know, one of the biggest shifts that we can make is learning the difference between hopeful language and dramatic language.
Okay. Tell us more.
And I know because I lived with chronic pain and was a little dramatic at times, right? Because pain hurts.
It hurts a lot. And it is, I mean, it captures all of your attention.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's real.
And it's real.
Yeah.
Right. And so instead of falling apart, I could have said, I'm struggling, right? Instead of nothing is helping, I could say, I'm frustrated because progress feels so slow. Or instead of, I can't do anything, I could say, there are some things I can't do yet.
Ooh.
So notice what happened. I didn't become unrealistically positive, but my words did get more hopeful.
Yeah, and hopeful is usually more helpful than exaggerating.
Right, yeah. The goal is helpful language. So when I first learned of this idea, I decided to experiment, didn't I?
We love experiments.
That's right. So I decided to change my words that were excruciating pain.
Ooh, because it felt excruciating.
It really did, to the word discomfort. Now, it wasn't lying to myself, but trying to change the word picture in my brain. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to calm down the emotional fear response that came when I said the words excruciating pain. Because, the words excruciating pain, which felt very accurate to me, right?
Yeah.
But it brought on a picture of like being in fire, being on fire. But the word discomfort didn't bring such a gruesome image.
Yeah, that would probably be helpful.
Yeah, so you might say, but that's the truth of how I feel. And I understand it is the truth of how I felt too. But I was learning how the brain works and learning that using the words excruciating pain was not helpful in calming the fear that was increasing my pain. And thankfully for me, my experiment was really very successful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that. It was profound.
Yes. And as I continued to use more calming words, it gradually calmed down the fear that was associated with my discomfort. And over time, my pain levels actually decreased.
And it wasn't the silver bullet. It wasn't the magic pill. It didn't solve everything, but
Right.
like we say, baby step. It was
Right.
helpful.
Yeah.
And it offered some hope.
Yes, it did. And, I still use that technique today, and many of my clients have found it very helpful for them as well. So some people might be wondering, okay, but does language really affect my pain? Well, I know from experience that it can.
Absolutely.
Not because words magically cure our pain, right?
Nope.
But because our words influence our thoughts, our emotions, our stress levels, definitely our fear, and also our behavior.
And maybe our expectations.
Yes, absolutely. That'd be another one, right?
Yeah.
So all those things influence the nervous system. And of course, we know that's important. So for example, if I repeatedly tell myself, I'm just falling apart, well, my nervous system senses danger.
Yes, and that's not helpful.
And if I repeatedly tell myself, I'm having a difficult day, but I've gotten through difficult days before, my nervous system hears something very different. Again, it's the same pain, but a different message, and so a different emotional response.
And we need that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So here's a simple experiment that I would encourage our listeners to try.
Okay, tell me about it.
So for 1 week, pay attention to the language you use.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, especially the language you use about yourself. Okay.
Yeah, because curiosity about what's going on is really helpful.
Yeah, we're just noticing what words show up repeatedly, and are they helpful? And would you use those words with someone you love? So again, you don't have to change everything. Just start becoming aware, because awareness often comes before change, right?
Yeah, that sounds like a great experiment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a curiosity. It's just a paying attention. It's just a noticing.
That's right. If there's one thing I hope you remember today, it's this. Our words matter. Not because they're magic and not because they're fake, but because they influence the stories we tell ourselves. And those stories influence how we feel, how we respond, and sometimes even how we experience pain. So this week, try listening to your language. Notice the words, notice the stories you tell yourself, notice any patterns. And when you find words that are not helping, see if you can replace them with words that are more hopeful. Because that simple shift made a difference for me, and it may help you too. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing so that you can be notified when new videos drop. And if you know someone who could benefit from our videos, please share the link or channel with them. And remember, your pain is real, there is hope, and our goal is for you to have your pain in the rear view.